Welcome to Exploring the Mystical Side of Life with your host, Linda Lang.
Hi, this is Linda Lang from ThoughtChange.com. We are exploring the mystical side of life once again this week. We have clarity coach and YouTuber Rachel Smets here. Rachel, welcome.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for having me.
So why do we have a clarity coach on exploring the mystical side of life? Very simply, Rachel really changed her whole life, her whole way of living by following her intuition. Rachel, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah, thank you. Where do I start? Well, in a nutshell, in a short version, I was working in the corporate world, and I had a great title and benefits and a great car and all of the things that on the outside looked like, ooh, you have it all, Rachel. You're successful. It's all going well, climbing the corporate ladder. But on the inside, I felt miserable. I was stressed out. I was burning out. I was so unhappy, so stuck, so unfulfilled, not knowing what's next or what would really make me happy. So I did burn out, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced me. Here I was all these years, nearly 40, up in my head, always rational, logical, do this, do that, earn money, work hard. That's how I was raised. That burnout made me stop and made me look within. And it made me look like, what is it that Rachel really wants? And what are my next steps? And it was not working for a boss. My big value is freedom. I wanted freedom, but how? Where, what, so all of these questions unanswered, but slowly and surely I discovered that freedom is traveling full time and helping other people find their purpose and turn their paycheck into purpose. So that's the short version. And so, yes, I turned within and I found myself.
Did you get those little twinges of intuition before you hit burnout, or did you have to really disconnect from your job before you heard them?
Yeah, I really had to stop everything and then listen to myself. And that was so hard, so difficult, because I was not used to it. I was raised in a family. I love my parents to bits, but we never discussed emotions. We never talked about how do you feel, or have a good cry, or no. It was like, be strong, not at all about emotions or feelings. So for me to start feeling, going within and feeling my body and feeling within, and just that gut feeling and just all of that, it was such a process because I was not used to it. So it really started by learning to feel my body, like how's my body feeling? Am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling tension? Like doing mini body scans. That was really the very, very, very beginning for me to learn to feel. And then afterwards to learn what is intuition and how can I trust my intuition.
There are a lot of people who don't know how to do a body scan on themselves. So why don't you take us through your process?
Sure. Well, I Googled it, I started Googling it. I started reading a lot of books. I started reading a book about mindfulness. That's really what it started like be present, like don't think about, because that's what I did. I was always thinking, like I was worried about what was going to happen in the future, or stressed about something that happened in the past. It was just, I was never really present. So reading books about mindfulness was really the first thing, learning to be present. And within that, it talks also about, okay, what are you feeling right now? What are you doing literally right now? I am focused on speaking with you. I'm hearing my voice. And that's really the beginning. And then I started looking at some guidance on YouTube. You find everything on YouTube, like mini body scans. And it was literally, for me, the very beginning was laying in bed, because I never had time. I never had time for meditation. Never. Oh no, we have to go and work. And so it was just laying in bed and feeling the sheets and feeling warm or feeling cold. And because I didn't really know what feelings was. So it was, okay, let's start with warm and cold. Okay, I can do that. I'm feeling cold, I'm feeling warm. And then came, okay, now I feel some tension in my stomach, and I feel pain, or I feel a headache. And just really, it was just such a slow process. And I hated every minute of that process that was so slow because I have no patience. But it's really the way, when I think about it, it's really the way it went. And then just from there, I started like, okay, I can feel a bit more. Oh, I feel a bit tension. Oh, I feel happy. I feel joy. And, yeah. And then the mini body scan is literally just go across your whole body. Like, okay, I feel my head, what's going on in my head. And I always imagined like a big white light, or golden light that was just going through my head, through my, touching everything within my hands, my arms, my legs, and just going all the way down to my feet. And that was really the beginning, and doing that over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think body scans are actually really important for everyone to do. It's something that I do with all of my clients when I have sessions with them and teach them how to do. It's a really valuable source of information, and you can start to feel where you're storing information or body parts that are complaining, the energy of things. You'll learn how, when you walk into a place, maybe you feel light and airy or you feel really heavy. And those are all signs from your unconscious mind. It's really important to start paying attention to those things. Now, Rachel, how did you come to the conclusion that freedom was your main ideal?
That's a really, really good question. I started searching, okay, I'm in this job. I knew I never liked working for a boss. So there was a few things that I knew, but I wasn't sure what direction to go. I wasn't sure what is my purpose. I really didn't know what are these values, because I never really looked into it. I was just always doing what everybody's expecting from you, like, oh, you go to school and you have a degree and you go for this job and you climb the corporate ladder. So I was always doing what everybody was expecting from me, but I never knew or searched for what are my real talents and passions and purpose. So I started talking to people about it, like, how do I know what my purpose is? How do I know? What do I do? What are, and then I came with, okay, values. And then I started looking at Googling list of values, and and just doing the work. And what I mean by that is I never before that moment did I ever journal. But then when I was doing this search, this soul search, I suppose, I started journaling and I wrote a lot. And I wrote, what are my values? What are my talents? What are my skills? What are my strengths? And I Googled and I did exercises and I journaled again and I journaled my thoughts. And then when you look through all those pages, you see trends, I suppose, like what is always coming back. I was asking myself, what do I want? What do I not like? What do I see myself doing? And so I started noticing that word freedom coming back, and then when I looked at lists of, okay, what are our values, in life? And I'm like, oh, independence and freedom. And yeah, so that's why that's how I came to realize that. And that I loved helping people. I didn't know how yet, but I knew I loved helping people. I love communicating, even though I'm an introvert. Let me say that. But yeah, slowly but surely, I started discovering these things and talking to other people. And then you come into contact with digital nomads, and I'm like, wow, they're traveling, they're working from the laptop, and they're earning money online, and I want that, And it just yeah, because I was already living abroad in many different countries. But it's different to actually live in a country abroad or travel. And so I started traveling more. Yeah. And then I discovered, like, every time I was in a new place, I'm like, wow, I get so much energy because, oh, there's an important point here. Noticing my energy, doing these body scans and going inward, I learned to realize, hey, now I have energy and now I don't. Working for a boss and talking to my colleagues, I felt exhausted and drained. Doing something outside, going on a bike ride, going to the gym, I had energy. Traveling gave me energy. Meeting new people gave me energy. Talking to strangers and learning a new language, boom, gave me energy. So I started noticing these patterns of, oh, wait, that is definitely draining me. And that is definitely, I started selecting my tribe. Like, those people, I don't want to talk to them because they drain me. Those people, I do want to talk to them. So I started really, making these small changes in my life, and then coming more and more in contact with, yeah, digital nomads, and starting traveling more and discovering more of what I did like. Yeah, that's pretty much the journey.
Well, Rachel, what I find fascinating and a really good point is that you got to that place through the power of your mind. You used your mental acuity to whittle away, whittle away, whittle away to find out what your soul was really trying to communicate with you. So you don't necessarily have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? The mind is not an evil thing, it's a tool, and it is here to help us navigate our life. So I think it's fantastic that you found a way that worked for you that helped you really listen.
I mean, even now I'm still developing my intuition. I'm still learning. But I notice that the more, whenever I'm in doubt or I have a question, the more I sit in silence and I listen to my intuition, I listen to my gut feeling, or when I have a decision, like simple things, so I try practicing with simple things like, okay, what do I wear? Well, basically now that I'm traveling full time, I have so little clothes with me that that's an easy choice. I wear the same things every day. But do I go to Portugal or do I go to France? That was the question that I had a couple of months ago. And then I'm like, okay, what? I don't know. It's that hunch, and it's like I just felt like Portugal. And so here I am in Portugal right now. So yeah, every time I make a decision, it's like, okay, this or that. And yeah, it's always right. It's fascinating how it works, and I'm still learning.
So have you ever not listened to that voice and made a decision counter to it and then wish you would have went back?
Many times, much more than I can even think about. Now I'm thinking about an example. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything dramatically because I also come from a mindset of, well, if I made a bad choice or a bad decision, I can, I'll tweak it and I'll make it work anyway, and I'll make a better decision next time. I guess one of the examples is the last 6 months before I came to Portugal, I was traveling in France. And so I was going to different locations, and at a few times there was a location I thought, should I go there? And it didn't quite feel right, but I'm like, yeah, but and then my logical mind was, but this and this and this makes sense, so yeah, I'll do it. But really deep down, I felt like, and then when I was there, I was like, oh my goodness, it was so rural. It was the middle of nowhere. I had such a difficult time, because there was literally not one human being. I needed that social aspect, and I was 18 kilometers or 15 miles away from the nearest supermarket. I was like, yeah, it was a good challenge. And then I thought, oh, I knew this. I just knew this. And yet I made a decision to come here. Why?
Good learning, right? It's a good learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Everything is lessons learned. Everything. Yeah, absolutely.
Have you made any amazing decisions using your intuition that turned out so much better than you expected?
Yeah, well, quitting my corporate job, that was huge because, there's so many fears coming up. What if I fail? What will other people say? Oh my gosh, announcing that to my parents, like that was massive. Having said that, when I quit my corporate job, I applied for a little part-time university teaching job. And that was also based on my intuition because I don't have a teaching degree. And there I was applying for a lecturer position, a professor position at the university. And it just felt good. I never knew I had this teaching in me, and I never, it just felt good. And I remember going to that interview, and I was like, hey, here, I don't have a degree, but I'm passionate about it. I'm motivated. I'm this, I'm that. And it just flowed. And I got hired, right away. And so, yeah, those are things, doing TEDx talks. I never stood on a stage before, and there I was doing a TEDx talk, but also it just felt like it felt scary, but my intuition said to do it. Like, yeah, there's definitely some major steps there.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, especially when you start following those little breadcrumbs that your soul leads you. Like, I think probably every job I've ever had kind of either fell on my plate, or I got that intuition to, apply or go there or talk to this person. And it's such a different way of living than trying to plan everything out and all your steps. it's just more like an adventure. I think your life can become an adventure, whether you're traveling or not.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. Yeah. And it's nice, but it's difficult because still, I think most people, including myself, we still prefer to have a plan and to follow the steps. I think it's still difficult to really fully trust intuition without having a plan, if that makes sense.
Well, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
For anyone who wants to kind of tune into their intuition a little bit better, do you have any tips, Rachel?
Depending on what stage you're at, but if you're at the beginning stage, I would say, yeah, go into feeling more, go into your heart more, go into do these little mini body scans and try to really feel like, how do I feel? Do I feel warm? Do I feel cold? What is my heart telling me? And maybe for me, what helped me most is these really small decisions and just see where, like, literally you're in a street and you're like, okay, do I go left or do I go right? And just really ask yourself that question. Always make yourself have two choices, left or right. And then, okay, what is my intuition saying? And in the morning, like, do I wear this shirt or this one? Do I make a phone call now or later? Do I talk to this person or that person? Do in a supermarket? Do I literally today I was like, okay, ice cream. Do I want stracciatella or do I want vanilla? And I was like, just like little decisions, and just play around with it. It's like, that's the thing, play around with it because it's fun. It's fun.
I actually found my way in a part of the city that I did not know at all. And my GPS died. And it was like, okay, I have no idea where I am. How do I get to a place where I do know? And I did that every corner. Do I turn right, left, go straight? And magically, I found where I needed to go, which was also a place that I had never been before. I mean, it was, a little bit nerve-wracking perhaps, but it was just really encouraging and kind of fun from an adventure point of view.
Yeah, and I've been in that situation so many times. Like, the thing is that, people now these days are like, oh, but it's easy, you have Google Maps. But I've been in so many rural places where in the middle of the mountains, there is no network. And so you really can't reach anybody or any Google Maps. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I always actually like to get lost, and then that victory of, I found my way, it's just, yeah, I really enjoy that.
Well, your point of view has a huge impact on how you experience your life. Certainly. As a mindset coach, I'm sure you teach your people that too.
Yeah, totally. It is a mindset. Everything is a mindset. Everything is the way you feel. And I guess because I travel so much and I am, a woman alone and, there's so many challenges. Like every time I come to a new location, I don't know anything. I don't know the language. I don't know the people. I don't know, so I get lost all the time and I get, challenged all the time. And it is really like so many people ask me like, oh, are you not lonely? And it's just a mindset. If I think, oh no, I'm lost and I'm alone and I don't know, like, I panic. I don't allow those stops. I will always I'll find, like literally, I borrowed a bike a few days ago. My tire got flat way far away from where the place I was staying. I never in a second was stressed out or felt tension. I was like, no, I'll just find a way. And I just literally immediately switched that button to, I'll find a way. I'll ask people. And I just started asking people in my best Portuguese. That is really not so good, and people are so friendly and they really tried to help me and I found a way and somebody, took my bike and put it in the car and drove me back and just fixed it. I mean, amazing. I mean, it's really a mindset. It really is, because I could have stand there like, oh no, I didn't, I mean, it's just.
Well, I think it's wonderful, Rachel, that you have chosen to live your life very intuitively and to build your sense of self through all these experiences. Again, listeners, if you don't want to quit your job, you don't have to, but let's start tuning in and paying attention to whatever your soul is telling you. Rachel, if anyone would like to reach out and learn more about how they can live their dream life and let go of their job, why don't you share your contact info?
If you can spell my name, Rachel Smets, Smets, then you can find my website, rachelsmets.com. And please do go to YouTube and type my name in YouTube, Rachel Smets, because every week I have amazing videos to help you find your way and find your path. And also below each video, and I can give it to you as well, I have a free download to find your sweet spot so that you can actually turn your paycheck into purpose. So thank you, Linda.
Beautiful, beautiful. And thank you for listening to this week's edition of Exploring the Mystical Side of Life. You will find all of our conversations on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Come visit me at thoughtchange.com, pick up your copy of Learning to Listen, and let's start experimenting and building that intuitive muscle. Thanks for joining me. We will see you again next time. Bye for now.